How do you know that Donald Trump is still the president?
Because he should be, because the election was stolen.
How come none of the courts accepted any of the evidence? There was no evidence.
There was a lot of evidence. The bellwether states, I mean, there was so much common sense evidence that they just didn't want to look at.
There's also common sense evidence that Joe Biden won by 7 million votes.
A new poll shows that the majority of Republican voters do in fact want Donald Trump to run for president again, even if he's charged with a crime. The NPR, PBS NewsHour, and Marist National poll found that approximately 61% of Republicans said they'd support the former president if he were indicted, compared to 20% of independents and 8% of Democrats. I mean, these polls, they just blow my mind. Like, who are the 8% of Democrats? Are they just Are they just trolling the pollsters? Who knows? Luckily, not everyone is insane. 61% of Americans, including 90% of Democrats and 26% of Republicans, and 67% of independents do not want Donald Trump to run for president in 2024. This jumps to 65% of Americans if he's charged with a crime.
One thing that drives me crazy, as we're going to show you here, is that when Democrats say, yeah, MAGA Republicans, they're a small portion of the Republican Party. You know, the majority of Republicans are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people, right? Are they? So here's 61% of Republicans saying, oh, if he's a criminal, yeah, then he should definitely run. I can't wait to vote for the criminal who stole nuclear secrets and put them in his house for God knows what reason. Hey, don't you want to know for what reason? I don't care. I love him, and I love that he's a criminal. That's not a minority. Let me do the math for Joe Biden. There's 61% of Republicans. But this is not an outlier poll at all. So one that came out just a couple of days ago, 2/3 of Republicans, 66% say, quote, the election was rigged and stolen from Trump.
Okay,
Two-thirds of Republicans. They're all MAGA Republicans. Knuckleheads in D.C., figure it out.
Okay, so I'm going to tweak what you said a little bit, because I think your interpretation is inaccurate. Okay, so the reason why I say it is because you're under the impression that if these voters saw that he was indicted for a serious crime and actually believed that he was guilty of this serious crime, they would still support him. But they have been misled into thinking any type of investigation into Donald Trump is nothing more than a witch hunt. So they don't believe what's being reported in regard to his possession of top secret and classified documents. They just don't believe it. They think that it's a politically motivated witch hunt and nothing more.
Yeah, and so two things about that. Yeah, I hear you. That's the whole why right-wing media is more at fault than the voters are, because they brainwashed them very, very literally. Okay, they kept the truth from them systematically. They lied to them systematically, so they believe things that aren't remotely true. That the election was stolen from Trump, even though 60 court cases determined they didn't have a single piece of evidence, including all the Trump judges, et cetera. But they've got them believing in absolute fantasies, right? And now they say, oh yeah, of course, nuclear secrets are supposed to be stolen, or no, not stolen, but they're taken by the president. Obama took them too. Not true, not remotely true. They brainwash them so badly. It's a total and utter cult. Having said that, are you sure if they thought, oh no, he took the nuclear secrets and he wanted to sell them for his own personal profit? Even if they knew that and they believed that, I think he would still have a majority of Republicans kissing his ass and saying, I'd rather have that criminal than someone who I don't like, the others, brown, black people, gay people, whatever it is, anyone who doesn't want to oppress people that don't look like me.